Good morning everyone, the MMDA are here on Maharlika. Right now they're dealing with anti-illegal parking operations, sidewalk clearing and things like that. This car here looks like there's no driver inside, so it could get towed away. This one here has a driver, so it will just be a ticket. And along here, same thing, this yellow PLDT truck, just a ticket since there is a driver. It looks like most of the markings have been removed from this, so I'm not sure about that PLDT logo on the front. It's been a number of minutes, no one's come out for this vehicle, so they are connecting the tow truck now. I think earlier I might have said Maharlika, this is actually Maganhawa. Right now the team are looking at these no parking posts that have been placed in the road. Of course these serve as an obstruction by themselves, so they have to try and remove these. These are very difficult because they fill them with concrete, they're very difficult to move, very heavy. I don't know who placed them here, but it's an obstruction that the MMDA have to now try and move. I don't think they're going to be able to take these away today, so the best they could do is just move them to the side, at least for today. Perhaps they were placed here by whoever owns this property, because I can see this no parking sign here. It's actually been welded onto their property here, so perhaps they're the ones that placed it. They might not want people parking in front of their property, but this is a public road, so it should really be open for vehicles. So they're just removing that sign now. They do have to use the cutter to remove some of it. And there you go, they can now take that away and put it on the back of the truck. Further on the road here, they're looking at this installation. I'm not exactly sure why it's here, but of course it stops anyone from passing through on the sidewalk, so it looks like they're removing that now. It's a wooden frame and then it's got wire mesh and barbed wire on it. Definitely potentially a hazard for pedestrians. Somebody said this was placed here to prevent people from putting garbage. Doesn't make sense to me because they'll just go an extra 2 foot and place the garbage here instead. So it doesn't really make sense to obstruct the sidewalk, at least not to me, so they are pulling this down. It seems to be taking a little bit of time, but they'll get it done. They're just advising people to move back, and they're also keeping the traffic away so they can bring this down. And there you go. Over here the towing crew hooking up to this vehicle. No drivers come out to move it. There's no parking on both sides. And there goes that car now. And just like some of the areas I showed yesterday, you can see that some sidewalks just basically disappear into a wall. So this one here, pedestrians have no choice but to go in the road because, you know, someone's decided to extend their private wall onto the public sidewalk. It's really a problem all across the city, to be honest. But it really is something that should be dealt with by the city, or even better, the barangay, when they see people building stuff like this, stop them before they actually do it. Somebody came out to complain about the car being towed away. The enforcer said he was calling into the home, he was honking the horn, nobody came out, the vehicle was parked on the sidewalk, so they towed it away. And some people from the barangay, the white shirts, they've come out to help with the operation, anything that might be required. It's always good when the barangay get involved. In fact, it makes me super happy. Because it shows they're willing to participate, they want to, you know, be part of the operation. It's very good to see. And you can see further down the road they've already connected to this red car to tow away. And right now the sidewalk clearing team are trying to clear this. You can see that when the gates are open and they put all their stuff here, like vulcanizing, whatever, it just overtakes the sidewalk, everyone's forced into the road. So they're trying to clean this up now. In fact, you can see this vulcanizing shop have even cemented their equipment into the sidewalk here. Again, that's pretty common, so they're using the public sidewalk, which should be for pedestrians. They're using it for their business, so they're going to try and remove this now using a sledgehammer. It's probably going to be a bit of hard work. He's already broken off the connection at the back, so now he just has to break the surrounding concrete so he can pull it out. Looks like they've nearly got it up. There we go. Although it's going to leave some mess behind. They'll put that on the back of their truck now as a confiscated item. And the owner of that who put it there is now responsible for removing the remaining cement and basically cleaning it up also. The BPSO guys have been given instructions to some of the businesses here to remove their obstructions. I already saw them following their directions, so that's good. It means even if the MMDA aren't here, they can also enforce it by themselves. And at this construction company, they're advising them to remove these hollow blocks from the sidewalk. They're also removing this sign installed here on the sidewalk, put into place with some wire and a few rocks. They'll put this on the back of the truck. It's really meant to be an unobstructed sidewalk. When you're walking along this sidewalk, you can see that suddenly there's an obstruction, you can't get by anymore. They're going to be speaking to the owners and try and get them to self-deconstruct. And then if they don't want to self-deconstruct, then at least they can give notice that they'll be removing this. Again, if you're a pedestrian, you're going to have no choice but to walk into the road puts you at risk. It also adds to congestion. So as much as possible, they want the sidewalks to be completely unobstructed. Putting aside that specific obstruction, it's actually quite hard to walk along this sidewalk because it's been converted to ramp for parking and for driveway access. If you look further along, it's flat, but once you get here, it's all like this. Makes it very difficult to walk along, but it's still better than walking in the road. And there goes another towed car. Looks like there's a couple of tricycles in the back also. So they're removing it now and they'll be issuing a violation ticket for this. It's hard on the tool to cut through rebar, but they can do it. They're also removing the electrics from up above because it does have lighting also. They already cut the rebar and they're just taking out the whatever connection it is to the wall, so it should be down in a few seconds. And there you go, it's down, and any moment now the sidewalk will be open again for pedestrians to pass through. Further down the road here, they're looking at these posts which have been cemented into the ground. It might be to try and prevent cars from parking here, but again, they want unobstructed sidewalks as much as possible. They're ringing the bell with the home to see if the owner will come out and remove them themselves. If not, the sidewalk clearing team can do it. Nobody's come out, so it'll be the sidewalk clearing team that remove these. They'll cut them off, then bash down the remaining stuff with a hammer. See, the barangay guys are jumping in now. They want to do their bit, so they'll be moving these ones that are in cement blocks. It's hard work what these sidewalk clearing teams do every day. What they're doing is partial cuts, then they can just break off what remains. It's a lot easier than cutting through the whole thing, especially since this actually, it looks like it's full of cement, so heavy duty posts. Like I mentioned earlier, they'll bash down the remaining so it won't act as a trip hazard or anything else. Down comes another one over here. There you go. And you can see here they're just finishing up. They removed those 4 posts and it's completely unobstructed now. And I can see over here Cesar and the PPSO are talking to someone from the business here. You can see all these construction materials are on the sidewalk.
Susunod po kami.
Yes, ma'am.
Tatanggalin po namin doon. Nagpautisa po ako doon sa tao ko. Narinig po nila na pinapakit ko po kung anong pwedeng gawin. At makukuha ko po ito sa aking ano. Dahil wala naman po kami ilalagyan sa labor. Dahil garahe po namin to. Kung ilalagay po namin yung sasakyan namin dito, uwawalan po kami ng lugar. So, ngayon, naintindihan po namin ngayon, nagkaroon po ng operation dito.
Yes.
Sinabihan nyo kami. Pagbalik ko ninyo at nandito pa, sige po, bigyan nyo kami ng penalty kung ano man ang dapat yung gawin. Pero ngayon lang naman po kayo na ganito dito eh.
Ma'am, for the
Nireklamo na po namin to na yung about yung mga illegal
parking.
Oo, nagsabi na kami sa barangay kung anong pwede nilang gawin. In fact, nakipag-usap sila kay Vice.
Yes.
Merong council na nag-attend para dito. I had the picture with me kung gusto ko niyo ipakita ko.
Ma'am, for the meantime siguro, para may madaanan lang yung mga tao, baka pwede naman nating iusog mo.
Gagawin po namin ngayon.
And then later, yung request nyo na
Papakit ko na po. Papakit ko na po sa taas.
So for the meantime po, pwedeng ipasok.
Ano po, papagawa ko po. Wala pong problema.
It looks like all of these materials are here because there's ongoing construction. But they treat this the same as if you block the road, for example, illegal parking or obstruction. Well, if you block the sidewalk, they can also issue a violation ticket for that. So that's what he's doing now. He's just writing out the ticket. So they just issued a ticket to this motorcycle rider. Neither of them are wearing helmets, but they actually have 2 helmets attached to the bike. So issued a ticket and sending them on their way with the helmets. On the other side of the street here, they're looking at these stalls that have been left on the sidewalk. There's no one around, there's no goods inside, it's just the structures, so they're calling over the sidewalk clearing truck now and they'll put them on the back. So they're just going to try and get this on the top of the truck now. It's going to be a little bit difficult because it's quite heavy, but I've seen them lift heavier, they'll get it done. And there you go, cleared from the sidewalk. It looks like they'll also be removing this canopy here over the sidewalk. They're also removing the electrics here that were used for lighting, so I guess they light this up at night. Somebody came out of the property now, not too happy about them removing this. So she's saying you better be removing everyone else's stuff if you're also removing mine. They're just finishing up now. 99% of it's removed already. The lady actually continued following the team and started complaining that she thinks there should be better coordination with the barangays. The thing is, they've coordinated with both of the barangay that they passed through today, and regardless of that, they know what the rules are about obstructing the sidewalk, about the road. The MMDA, as far as I know, they don't have to coordinate. It's nice if they coordinate, and they do coordinate, but there's no requirement. They can operate. They're at the national level, so they can operate here. Even if the barangays say we're not interested, they can still go along and operate. They're advising this business owner to remove the sign. They're lucky that they were here and they've offered to move it themselves, otherwise it could be confiscated. It seems like one of his concerns was that there's electrical wire going into here. It seems to go up the light post here and then I guess through that window. Some pretty interesting choice of wiring. Of course there's no earth either, so if a wire comes loose and touches that metal frame, any pedestrian could easily get a shock. Further along here they're looking at these vehicles partially obstructing the sidewalk. As usual, they'll give an opportunity for the owners to come out, take a ticket and move them. Otherwise they could get towed away. No drivers come out to move this big truck, so they are going to be towing it away to clear the obstruction, clear the sidewalk. If you look at this white car here, you can see it is possible to fit in the parking space, but if you own a bigger vehicle, that's when you're going to have problems. And that's one of the downsides of having a large vehicle in Metro Manila. Many of the spaces just aren't big enough. Further down the road here, the enforcers are writing out a ticket for this one parked on the sidewalk. They're going to flag down this truck now for truck ban, although it looks like he already has a ticket, but they'll verify. Here's the driver's license, they'll issue a ticket now. Right now the enforcer's trying to get the attention of whoever owns this car, whoever's driving it, to come and move it. The driver already surrendered his license and moved the car, so they're just writing out the ticket now. And over here they've stopped a motorcycle. The rider isn't wearing a helmet and he's wearing slippers, so they're just asking now to see the driver's license so they can issue a ticket. Then he can push the bike until he gets a helmet. There's a cute dog here, but it looks like his front legs were broken at some point because they're kind of out like this. But he doesn't seem to mind. He seems to be able to get around okay, and he looks like a healthy weight. Come here. I don't think he's going to come over, but he is cute. Right now they're trying to do something with this rock here on the sidewalk. They suspect it may have come from here because there's a similar rock up there, so they want to move it along and then put it up there in the empty space, but it's a very heavy rock. Over here I can see the team are removing pipes and rope. It looks like someone roped off the sidewalk in front of their home. I've seen that a few times actually, but it looks like they're taking it down now. And just across from there it looks like someone's installed their gate to extend over the sidewalk. If they remove it themselves, then they could keep it, but if the sidewalk clearing team have to remove it, it could get confiscated. To give you another look from the other side, here's the sidewalk, then you have the gate installed here, so it completely blocks off the sidewalk. Someone from the house came out and said they'll remove this themselves later, although I've heard so many homeowners and so many businesses say that in the past, and it's never happened before, but this time it could happen. If you look here at this construction site, you can see they've extended over the sidewalk and into the road. So they're just writing out a ticket for that now, issuing a ticket, and they're also advising them to move all of this stuff immediately. Right now the sidewalk clearing team are removing this stuff that's been wedged between these posts. Looks like this is a widened road, so that's why the posts haven't been moved yet, so they'll take that over to the truck. It looks like some kind of fold up stool. Here's an example of the posts that people put in the road. They're saying no parking. The problem is it pretty much blocks off one lane, so it's an obstruction, and this is the kind of thing that they remove. I think they're also going to try and take this one down over the sidewalk here. It's pretty much falling apart anyway, so definitely a hazard for pedestrians. They're just breaking it down and putting it on the truck now. It's pretty much rotten wood and rusted metal. It's no good. I can imagine the guys must be feeling pretty tired by now, and the obstructions just keep getting bigger and heavier. It's really hard work, really hard work. Imagine that, 2 tires full of cement, concrete, rocks, whatever else.